Hola, bienvenidos. Hello, welcome. This is DJ Podcast, Sin Fronteras. My name's Daniel. I'm one of the hosts for the podcast. The other host, his name is Jared, my younger cousin, which you guys will soon get to know him. Today I have a very special guest with me, my other younger cousin. He goes by the name of Julian. How you doing, bro?
I'm good, bro. I'm excited to be here. I'm very, very excited to be here.
Tell him a little bit about yourself if you don't mind.
Yeah, of course. So, as you said, my name is Julian. I just recently graduated high school. I'm a content creator on Instagram with over 15,000 followers. I'm the host of my own podcast called The Forum with Julian Terrones. I just recently released my first episode, and I'm very excited to be here, man. I'm really excited. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no, thanks for coming through. And for your podcast, in the description below, I'll make sure and put your tags so they can go ahead and follow my little cousin. He does a lot of great things that he's doing, so make sure to support him. And let's get it started.
Let's do it.
I have a couple questions that I want to ask you.
Yep.
I got closer to you recently.
Yep.
And I felt like God was the one that made that happen for me.
For sure.
I never had a little brother, and I feel like I see you like a little brother now. There's one thing that I wanted to ask you, and I remember it like if it was just yesterday. I for some reason, one way or another, I started cutting hair. I got into it, right? And I remember the text message that you sent me saying, "Primo, can you teach me how to cut hair?" And I was like, "Of course." And this remarkable young man picked up his own clippers, everything that he had, and I taught him what I knew. And now you're my barber. Tell me a little bit about that, man. What did you? Is that something that you already felt like you wanted to do, and it was just me that you saw me doing it? Did I plant a seed, or how was that? How did it go about?
Yeah. So when I saw you cutting hair, I saw you cutting our cousin's hair, Rodrigo, and previously I had kind of an idea that I wanted to cut hair, or at least try it, right?
Right.
And I was I was intimidated by it because I was like, well, how do you do it? Like what's the first step?
What if I cut someone's head?
Right. And then I realized, like, well, my cousin does it. You know what I mean? And I know him, and it's somebody that I know. I know that he can do it. If he can do it, I can do it.
Right.
You know what I mean? I think we have very similar motives. We have very similar ambitions. You know what I mean? If we want something, we're gonna get after it.
Right.
And I realized, well, if he has the same mentality I do, and he can do it, why can't I do it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I figured, well, if my cousin's doing it, why can't I do it? I'm gonna go to him and I'm gonna look for some help, right? I'm gonna get some help from him, and that's exactly what I did. I reached out. I said, hey, I seen you cut our cousin's hair, and I want to get my first pair of clippers. Help me out.
Correct. Yeah.
So
That's awesome.
I think definitely seeing somebody that I know doing it helped me. I think I wouldn't have been able to take the first step without seeing somebody close to me do it as well.
Right.
Because it's intimidating. Cutting hair is intimidating, man.
Yeah,
it's scary. It's so scary, man. But if I realize, if my cousin learned how to do it and he got good at it, why can't I? You know what I mean?
Awesome. That's awesome, man.
So yeah, that was definitely what it was, for sure. It was a bit of both.
A follow-up question to that too is what we're doing right now is this new podcast that we started. I'll be doing podcasts, by the way, in Spanish as well. Today is just in English, but I remember speaking to you recently about this idea that I had of starting a podcast, right? I got my equipment ready. I got everything I needed. I got my laptop, my microphone, my camera, this, that, and whatever, right? And yes, I could have done it by myself, but something was stopping me from doing it. I want you to tell me a little bit about, because I saw you do it by yourself. I don't know if that was something that I sparked into you. And if it was that, then I'm so grateful to God for that. But seeing you on Facebook, when I went on Facebook and saw your little mini podcast that you did, I was like, that was in reverse.
Mm-hmm.
My little cousin's showing me how to do it, and I was the one that kind of, I don't know if I gave you that idea or not. You're gonna explain right now. But just seeing you do that made me, like, challenged me so much, man. Like, you have no idea. I think you're a brilliant young man. I think you have so much talent. You have so much wisdom for your young age. Tell me a little bit about that, and what do you have planned for your podcast?
Right. So I just recently started the forum. The forum is something that ties back into something all the way that I did in high school, my junior year of high school. I started a club called the Oak Hill Society.
Okay.
And it wasn't the biggest success that I've had.
Right.
If anything, it was one of my failures that I had. It was this club. The idea was that I wanted to teach philosophy, right? I wanted to sit down and teach philosophy, and I figured it would be more personal because I'm not a teacher. I'm not an adult with, so many degrees. I'm not an adult that has so many experiences, but
Right.
I'm just another human being. I'm another student. I'm another young kid trying to help other young kids and trying to spread a message to other young kids. And that's what it was for that entire year. I was sitting in the band room with my own little whiteboard talking to maybe 4 or 5 kids that weren't paying attention, you know what I mean?
Right.
And having that failure, it kind of stuck in the back of my head. It kind of stuck with me, like, oh man, like I really wish I could have done something with that, you know what I mean? So what the forum really is, it's almost a revival of the Oak Hill Society.
Right.
And so I wanted to start something where I could just sit down and just talk about what I know about philosophy, talk about what I know about the people that I study, about the philosophers that I've read about.
That's awesome.
And into a simple, digestible way. I understand philosophy can be something that suffocates people, It's something that's hard to get into.
Yeah.
But with the forum, I wanted it to be a space where it was easy to understand. It was easy for anybody to really get into it. You know what I mean?
Correct. Yeah.
And that's really what the forum is, man.
That's awesome, man.
So that's really
remarkable. Not awesome. That's remarkable. I'm proud of you, man, and I'm so happy to see you do things at this young age, man. Because there's a lot of youth that are just lost, man. That they don't even think like you're thinking right now, man. You got so much potential. I love to see you talk like the way you're talking right now. I want to see if maybe perhaps there's a way that you can talk to the camera, to the people watching us, to the kids that are your age, 18 and around that age, right? Because I was 18 and I didn't have no one. I wasn't as brilliant as you are right now. I'm not gonna lie. So, what's a message that perhaps you can tell to people around your age, to the kids, to the teens, boys or girls?
Right.
What's something that for them to succeed and come closer to God? What would you tell them?
I think definitely consider the position that you're in. Consider the position that you're in and what led you to be in that position. Was it your fault? Was it somebody else's fault?
Mm-hmm.
And really reflect on that. Was it your fault? Unfortunately, it can be your parents' fault why you're in the position that you're in. It could be friends. It could be a partner. It could be whatever.
Right.
Sit down and really think about it. And if it's your fault, then you gotta do some soul searching. If you're in a bad position and you really sit down and think about it and you're like, dang, well, it is my fault. I'm here because of my own doings, my own wrongdoings. That's how you know you kind of need to tighten up and you need to step up your game a little bit when it comes to what you're doing with yourself. And I found myself in those positions all the time where I was kicked down, beat, and out for the count. And I thought about it and I was like, well, if I got myself in this position, I can get myself out of it. Maybe I can't do it alone. Maybe I need somebody else's help, and that somebody is always going to be God. And I never realized that growing up.
Yeah.
I never realized that. I almost thought believing in God was corny in a way.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Oh, really?
I almost thought it was corny in a way, and I found myself never disrespecting Christianity, but not taking it seriously.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
But then I turned to the Father and I realized, hey, like, I can't do it alone. I need your help. Sometimes you really just need to sit down and realize why you're in the position that you're in. And if you can't do it alone, you got to run to the Father and really seek help, because it's not easy out here, man. Nah. It's not easy.
Especially where we live.
It's hard out here. And
they call it Sin City for a reason, right?
It's true. It's all around us, right?
If you don't mind me, it's funny you mentioned two things that it's awesome that you just said it. There's two things that I go by, that I live by, that I try and just try and keep it like printed in my brain, right? Like just permanent. And the number one thing is everything happens for a reason, and the reason is the Lord Almighty. So if something happens, God knows it was gonna happen.
Yep.
Right. The second thing that you mentioned, that's funny. It's funny you mentioned this. There's this saying, why do you stress over things that you can't control? There's a lot of people out here, and I'm sure you fell into those people as well as I have many times.
100%.
We mess up all the time, right? Sometimes I believe, I don't know, I want to hear your feedback on this. There's so many times where there's stuff that is in our hands that we can control. Those are the things that you should stress over. If something happens to you that's out of your hands, out of your control, why are people stressing themselves and killing themselves with stress over something that's not even in your control? It was meant to happen. Now, if something bad happens to you that you have control over, then okay, be upset with yourself and correct it, fix it right away, and then keep it pushing.
Yep.
Move forward. But most times, I've seen the youth. I've been in that situation. I'm sure you have too, where we have things that we can't control, and we cling on to that. It was meant to happen.
Yep.
And the stuff that we do have control over, we act like it didn't just happen. Mm-hmm. What do you think about that? You know what I'm saying? Like,
yep.
Where I'm going at?
I completely understand what you're saying. And
so what do you? Yeah, give me a little feedback on that.
That's exactly what I talked about in my first episode of the forum. A table worth sitting at is differentiating what you can and cannot control.
Right.
And I think it's kind of a curious little thing that us humans do. We have this problem where if there's something that happens and we can't control it,
yeah, we
find ourselves more bothered by the fact that we can't control it than the actual problem.
All right, Primo. Last but not least, my final question for you is, I wanted to see if I can ask you this question about when your mom and dad separated. I know there's a lot of people that are going through struggles that you went through at a very young age. How was it for you when you went through that? When your parents separated, how was it growing up during that? You were in your teens, right? Or
Yep. I was about 13, 12, 13.
So that's like a very important age, right? How? Just explain to me a little bit of how it was to go through that, and what can you recommend for kids that are that same age, 13, going through a separation from mom and dad.
So the way that it all happened, it was night and day. I know a lot of people who are going through a separation, whether it's your parents or you yourself are going through a separation. It's either a slow burn or it's day and night. You know what I mean? And in my case, it was day and night. My parents split up day and night when I was about 12 or so, 11, 12, 13, in those couple years. And what it was difficult because I had the first half of my life being raised by my mom, and I was now being raised by my dad full time. And up until this point, my relationship with my dad, it wasn't bad, but because he was always working and he was being, he was being your typical dad. He was taking care of the house and going to work and paying the bills. And my mom, she was taking me to school. So I just had more time with her.
Gotcha.
Right? And because of that, it was a switch. The life that I knew was gone just like that.
Right.
It was gone just like that, bro. And that was difficult at first. But I learned over time, you need to be moldable. You need to be able to adapt to any circumstance, and that's exactly what I had to do. The pain that I endured during this time was a lot. It was a lot for somebody of my age, being 13. Yeah. It was a lot. It was a lot to handle, and I channeled it into the only way that I knew how to, and that was through music. And anytime I felt this sudden anger or something like that, I would pick up the guitar, I'd pick up the saxophone, I'd pick up the piano and just start playing.
Yeah.
And my playing reflected on my emotions. If I was feeling sad, I'd play something sad. If I was feeling angry, I'd play something angry.
Right.
And that really helped me move forward. And I realized that going through a separation, whether it's your own breakup or it's a divorce or you're caught in the middle of it, the best way to deal with it is to focus on the little things.
Yeah.
And looking at the big picture is very important in certain circumstances, but in circumstances such as these, the big picture is overwhelming.
Yeah.
Looking at yourself 10 years in the future is scary. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
There's a time and place to look at yourself in 10 years, and this is not the time and place for it. You know what I mean? You need to focus on your day-by-day actions, which you do every day, because you're trying to fight the big battle when you can't fight it on your own, or you can't fight it all at once.
Right.
You're going to find that the big battle really was just the tiny, small, little battles that you fight with yourself every day.
Yeah.
And you're going to find in the end, when everything is okay, that, oh, well, the bigger picture was the tiny pictures put together.
Well, Primo, thank you so much for giving me some minutes of your time.
Yeah, of course.
And for giving some wisdom to the younger kids that are following right behind you.
Yep, most definitely.
I love you, Primo, and make sure to follow his podcast as well. Link will be in the description below. I appreciate you for
sure.
by,
I appreciate you for having me here, man. I appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
And then we out.
We out.